What is up, guys? Fahir here with another cool tutorial. This time is a small hyper casual game, and as always, before we start coding and creating and doing all the magic, we're going to take a look at what game we're going to create. But before we do that, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, and smash that like button. I feel like those vloggers, you know, smash a like. Anyways, but seriously, subscribe, hit that notification button, and smash the like button. So now let's take a look at what game we are going to create. So when I hit the play button, you will see that we have these platformers. They are going up, our background is going down. We hear the background music, and we have different platforms here. You hear the sound effects. Now we are dead, and the game will restart. So again, let's try to beat the game, and here we will also land on one of the breakable platforms, which eventually will break, and bam, you see, it broke, and we fell down. And notice how our cube, our game player, is like rotating and stuff. So yeah, that is also a cool effect. You will also have, you see these moving platforms that are moving us to the side. We will see how we can create that. We will see how we can randomize all of this, and bam, we are dead. And the game will restart. Pretty simple game. I mean, it looks pretty simple, but it is not very easy to create. We will see that we will add some smart code to randomize these platforms, so on and so forth. We will learn a lot, so yeah, stick with me and you will have a lot of assignments in this video. So if you truly want to learn, I'm giving you assignments to complete, and I'm giving you hints how to complete that, and everything that you finish, you'll show me that in the Facebook group, and then I will grade it like, you know, in school you have A+, but probably will get A- anyways. Well, let's start and dive into the tutorial, and before we do that, you can download the assets and the complete project from www.awesometutorials.com, or link is in the description below. So yeah, have fun and enjoy the tutorial. I am in a new project, and this is a 2D project, and as always we are going to start by importing the assets. So we have the sounds and we have the sprites. Simply drag and drop them right here, and voila, Unity will import them. By the way, the assets and this complete project, you can download it. Link will be in the description below. So now the first thing that we're gonna do is create our background, and this is going to be a portrait game. So we're gonna go here and change our view. Now this is really important, so bookmark it, write it down on your notepad, on your, I don't know, piece of paper, where you write down your notes, because a lot of people have issues with this, and that is because they don't pay attention. How can you change this screen size? Well, it's really simple. For that, let me take my highlight tool. Here it is. So you see here I'm in the game tab, and right here where the game tab is, you have this where it says full HD. Now for you, maybe it will not say full HD, well, not maybe, but surely, because I created this. You can click on this, and voila, you see here you can have some already predefined resolutions such as 5.4 or 4.3 or 3.2 or 16:10, 16:9, so on and so forth. You get my point. But here at the bottom you have this plus circle. So you see this, well, I cannot use my highlight tool when I'm clicking on this. Anyways, you see this plus circle here? You can click on it. It will open this pop-up window. The label here is the name of that resolution. So name of your resolution, for example, full HD, HD, so on and so forth. And here you can set the width and the height. So for this example, or for this tutorial, I chose 480 by 800. So you're gonna type width 480, height 800, and you're gonna press OK. When you do that, you will see that resolution right here. Here it is, and I can click on it now, and bam, so I have changed the view. So now my camera is also changed. You see here how the camera is now like a rectangle, or actually it's not a rectangle, I think it is, yeah, rectangle. And if I go here and if I change it to full HD, you see it is in landscape mode. When I go back here and change it to 480, 800, it is in portrait mode. So this is how you change the screen in Unity, and this is how would you create a game for a portrait resolution or for a portrait mode. Okay, so moving forward, we are going to create a quad. So I'm gonna right click here and go under 3D object and create a quad. Now if you followed my tutorial about the space shooter, and hopefully I've published that before this one, because I already have them created anyways, And if you watched also my parallax scrolling tutorial, you will know what I'm gonna do. So I would encourage you to try this on your own. Try creating that parallax effect on the y-axis so that, well, you can practice. And then you can come back to the video and see if you did it correctly. So I'm gonna change the quad name to BG. And I'm gonna go and right click here in the project and create a folder. I'm going to call it material, and I am going to go here and create a new material. I almost created a script, and this one is going to be our BG material, and attach it right here on the BG game object. So it is attached. Did I attach it? Actually, no. So now it's attached. Okay. The next thing that we're gonna do is change the shader from standard here to unlit texture. So voila, simple like that. So now I can click on the drop down list. We can attach a texture here, which is our sprite. So we can go here in our sprites and I can select the background. Here it is. So select the BG and now drag and drop this background right here, and bam, here is our background. Of course, we are going to resize this BG. So we need to set the scale for the X at 6 and at the Y at 10. And voila, this is our background. So we are in the game view and this is what we see. And if we transfer this game on our phone, this would be what we would see. I'm also going to set the Z at 10 because this is a quad, and because of this, it will be rendered behind all other game objects. So set the Z at 10, and of course we can change this later on if the background is obscuring some of the game objects, so we can easily fix that. Anyways, go here in the assets and right click and create a new folder for scripts, and inside of that one I'm gonna right click and create a new folder for our BG scripts, and inside right click and create a C# one. This is going to be BG scroll, and we're going to attach it on the BG game object. So I'm gonna go here and attach it. So simply drag it and drop it and double click here, open it in Visual Studio. Now, if you watch a couple of my previous tutorials, you will probably notice that I'm testing you along the way, and it's not going to be different in this one. So prepare for a test pretty soon. Anyways, we are going to have here a public float for our scroll underscore speed, which by default I'm going to say 0.3. Now, of course, you can change this. You see I set it to be public, so if the speed is not what we want, we can change it easily. We are also going to get a reference to the private mesh renderer that I'm going to call mesh renderer, and I would encourage you to try to do this on your own. As I already said, try to scroll it on your own. And if you watch my space shooter tutorial, you will see one problem that we're gonna get, same as what we did in our space shooter tutorial. So here we're going to say mesh renderer is equal to get component, and that's gonna be our mesh renderer component. So simply now here below the update, we are going to create void scroll, and inside of this function, first of all, we're going to call it in the update. So we're going to say here scroll, not scroll speed, but scroll, this one right here. So scroll, and we are going to, inside of this function, we're going to program our functionality for scrolling. And what we're simply going to do is we're going to say here vector2 offset. We're going to get the offset of the texture, which is going to be equal to mesh renderer dot get texture, or actually shared material, excuse me, dot get texture offset. And we need to pass the name of the texture, and the texture name in quotes is underscore main text. This is the name of the texture. So underscore main text with capital M, capital T. Now, you know that I don't like this hard coding, so your first assignment for this video is to create a common script or a shared script that has all the names, tags, and so on and so forth that we are going to use, that we write as strings. So I want you to do that, because I'm not going to do it here. That's your job. I'm testing you out. Anyways, here we're going to say offset dot y, so the y-axis, we're going to say plus equals time dot delta time multiplied with the scroll speed, and voila. After that, we simply need to call our mesh render dot share material dot set texture offset, so set texture offset, and again we need to pass the name, which is the same right here, and this is why I don't like hard coding, and here we are going to set the offset. Now this is one reason why I don't love hard coding. You see, here we're using this and here we're using this. It is better to declare that variable first in a common script if you're going to use it on multiple places. In case of this script, you can declare it right here. So you can simply declare it here as a private string, but I'm not gonna do that, that's your job. So you need to fix that. Anyways, if I go inside of Unity and if I clear first the console, for some reason I like clearing the console, I don't know why, don't judge me. And if I hit the play button, the script is attached and we should see that our background will start to scroll, and voila, it did, our background started to scroll, but where is our background? We don't see it anymore. Well, let me go here and set the offset Y back to 1. So what is wrong here? What did we do? And let me set the offset here. Actually, offset here 0, 0. So yeah, what did we do and why isn't it scrolling? It is scrolling, but it's not scrolling how we intended it to scroll. And as I said, this is the same issue we had in the space shooter tutorial, in the 2D space shooter, the same exact issue. If you followed that, you would know. What we need to do is go back here inside of our sprites and select the background. And I like this approach really because it is beneficial for you. I first show you the problem that you will have and how you can fix it. So you're going to select the background, and here in the options, you see here with the options that we have this advanced right here. If it's folded, you're going to unfold it. So if it's folded like this, actually it's below, excuse me. If we set the texture like this to default, then it would be in the advanced. But here is actually below where it says this wrap mode. You see this? Let me just go here and clear it. You see this wrap mode right here. This is a drop-down list. Currently, it is set to clamp. We need to click here and we need to set to repeat, and then we need to hit apply at the bottom right corner here for this texture or for this sprite for this to take effect, for this change to take effect. So hit apply on repeat, and now if I go here and hit the play button, we will see that the BG will scroll and scroll and scroll, and it will repeat. So the texture will repeat itself. And this is what we need to do. So when these textures are not working, they are not scrolling how they're supposed to be in your code, and you did this right here, then the issue is simply going here, selecting the background and setting the wrap mode to repeat, and voila, that will fix the issue. Moving forward, the next thing that we are going to do is prepare our platforms, because we're going to have different platforms. So first of all, I'm going to go into the sprites and platforms folder and then into the standard platform. So this one, standard platform, we're going to put it here, and voila, this is our platform. So what I'm going to do is simply name it platform. And if you remember a few moments ago when I said that we're going to set the z-axis of our BG because it's a quad at 10, well, pay attention. What happens is if I set it at, for example, -11, or if I set it at -7, you see, it obscures our platform. That's why I'm going to set it simply at 10, and voila, here it is. Our platform is in front of it. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is set the order in layer for the platform at 1. So you see this right here, well, basically here where it's circled, it says order in layer, and I set it here to 1. That's the order that we're going to use to draw the platform. So the game object or the element that has a sprite render and it's on order in layer 0, it will be rendered behind. If you don't know 100% what I'm talking about, go and watch my video about orders or rendering layers and so on and so forth. Now, of course, this is too large for a platform, so what I'm gonna do is set 0.5 for X and Y. Scale, that is, so scale X and scale Y 0.5. I'm also going to take here Box Collider 2D and attach that Box Collider 2D on our platform. I am also going to click here, add component, and add a rigid body component, and this is going to be a rigid body 2D. So please pay attention. I say this all the time. It's a rigid body 2D when we cover a 2D game. So you have here two choices, a rigid body and rigid body 2D. I think Unity should put here rigid body 3D so that we know, well, I know and you know now, but somebody can get confused about using the rigid body. What I'm also going to do is, because if we run the game now, if I press the play button, pay attention, you see the platform simply fell down. We don't want that. What we need to do is set the body type from dynamic to kinematic. So let me go here, clear the pencil. You see here the body type for the rigid body, this one right here. We are going to set that, so click on the drop down list to kinematic. What is kinematic? Kinematic is not affected by gravity. We can affect it by velocity or add force and so on and so forth, but gravity will not affect this rigid body, whereas dynamic is affected by gravity. So this is for our platform. Now we also have a breakable platform, so I'm going to take another standard platform, or actually I'm just going to duplicate this one, and I'm going to rename this one to breakable platform, so platform, like this. And let me just lower it below a little bit, so here it is. We are going to have everything here, so same components, box collider, so on and so forth, but I'm also going to click here on add component and add an animator. So animator and hit enter, and I'm going to put this animator here. No particular reason why I'm reordering the component, so it's not like your game is going to run better or you're going to be a better game developer if you do this. My personal preference. So now that we have this animator, what I'm gonna do is go here and right click and create a folder for animations, and this is in the assets folder. So create the animations folder, and inside I'm going to create another one. So this one is going to be breakable platform animations like this. Inside, I'm simply gonna right click and create an animator controller, and this one's going to be breakable controller, and select the breakable platform and attach the controller. So simply drag and drop it right here. I'm also going to set the animation tab here, and selecting the breakable platform, click here, create, and it's gonna prompt us to create an animation. The first one is going to be the idle animation. So simply name it idle, and then, well, simply name it like that. Name it idle. So what is the next thing to do? The next thing is to click here where it says idle, and if you don't see where that is here in the animation tab, you see, and here you will have the idle. You see the animation now that we have created. This is a clickable button, so you can click on that and it will open this drop down list showing all the animations that we have, and currently we only have idle. So I'm going to click here, create a new clip, and this one is going to be break animation, so I'm simply going to name it break and hit enter to save. Now in the break animation, I'm gonna go quickly in sprites, platforms, and standard platform. In the break animation, select these crack 0, 1, 2, and 3, and if I preview it, you see what happens? You see? Simply, if I pay attention in the bottom right corner, by the way, so you will see it's simulating cracks. It's not crack like the way you think it is. It's crack when something cracks, okay? Not the way naughty boys with their naughty whatever. Anyways, so you see here platform, crack 0, 1, 2, and 3, simply drag and drop it here, and this is for the breakable, but for the idle, we're simply going to put the standard platform, and voila, we're good to go. Now, before we proceed and do anything, we can preview this, so I can go here and select the break, and I can zoom in here and pay attention. You see, it is breaking. You see, this is the animation, you see? It's fast when I simply hit the play button. We will change the speed of this animation inside. So if I go now, so let me go here. Actually, no, we cannot do that because, let me select the breakable platform. Yeah, the idle one is the default one. So let's set the default one, the break one. And if I go here, we'll see. You see how it is breaking. So what I'm gonna do is, let's set the speed of the break to 0.2, maybe 0.1. Yeah, 0.1 can do. Even 0.05. Yeah, 0.05 or I don't know, 0.8. That's enough, I think. What we also need to do is double click on the break animation here, the orange one now. So double click on it, uncheck the loop time. So click here and uncheck the loop time. Now let me click on this again. So the play button, and yeah, this is totally fine. This is totally fine. What I'm gonna do is, I'm going to right click on the idle and set it back as a layer default state, which means the idle will be the animation, the default one that's going to be played. Now this is for our platforms, the breakable and the platform regular. Now we also have a spike platform, so I'm going to simply drag and drop it here. Here it is. And by the way, let me just lower it here, and I'm going to set the order in layer to 1. And this is what I was talking about. Did you see if I set the order in layer 0, pay attention how the spike platform will be rendered behind. You see it's rendered behind this one. If I set the order in layer to 1, now they are on the same order layer, which means sometimes one element can be rendered first and sometimes another element can be rendered first. But if I set it at 2, you see now the blue platform is behind the spike platform. So this is that order, and I have a separate tutorial for that. Anyways, moving forward. Our spike platform, set the scale 0.5 for X and Y. Attach a box collider, and this box collider is going to be a trigger. And actually, excuse me, here it's a box collider 2D. And let me check here if I attach a box collider 2D on these both too. Yeah, so it's a box collider 2D, and check it to be a trigger. And let me just go here in the game to see. Well, we can resize it a little bit. We don't want it to be like this, you see, because now this is circling, or actually, I don't know how you can say that. This is a rectangle, so it's rectangling this spike platform. Anyways, we want to resize a little bit. So on the X, simply resize a little bit like this. On the Y, just a little bit, maybe like this. Yeah, we are good to go. Now pay attention here. We have the size X 2.4 and size Y 0.61. This is for the size of the box collider. Again, we are going to attach a component, which is going to be a rigid body 2D. And we are going to change the body type to kinematic from dynamic. So voila, we are good to go. Now this is for these platforms. We also have the speed platform. So simply what we are going to do is, first of all, go into animations and right click here. Folder, and this is going to be our moving platform. And what we're simply going to do is go here inside. So sprites and platforms and speed platform. This is the folder. So go here, and we have 8 of these. So select 8. So select all of them. Select all of these 8 and drag and drop them right here in the scene. When you do that, it will prompt this window for us to create an animation. What I'm going to do is go in the animations folder, moving platforms, and simply here I'm going to say move, and this is going to be that animation, and voila. And I'm going to name this one, how am I going to name it? Speed platform or moving platform? Yeah, speed platform. And it's going to be speed platform left, and because we're also going to have a right one. We will see in a moment how we're going to create that. Set the order in layer to 1. And if I run the game now, we will see the animation. So pay attention, you see now? Voila, this is the animation of the speed platform, which will move our player to the left side. Now again, we are going to also have a platform that's going to move him to the right side, but first of all, let me set the scale to 0.5 because we want it to be smaller. Let me attach a box collider 2D and make it a trigger. Actually, no, excuse me, this one will not be a trigger, only the spike platform. Others are not triggers, they're going to be solid game objects. So here, add component, a rigid body 2D, make it kinematic, and we are good to go. So yeah, this is for the platform. Now this is for the left one. What I'm gonna do is duplicate it, Command D or Shift or actually Control D on Windows. And you can also go here under Edit and Duplicate, that also works. So what I'm gonna do is take the speed platform and change this from left to right, and I'm going to move it up a little bit, so here. And simply here in the sprite component, we have this flip. You see, we have the flip, and what we can do is simply check the X for the flip. And pay attention what's gonna happen to this one. When I check the X, bam, you see now, it is pointing to the right side. And if I run the game, we will see that one is playing the animation left, you see, and another one is playing the animation to the right side. Voila. Now that we have prepared all of our platforms, I can go here in Assets and right click and create in a folder and prefabs. Well, name the folder prefabs. And go here, right click and create another folder. This is going to be our platform prefabs. And before we proceed to do anything, I'm going to create a platform script so that we can attach it. So we can attach the platform script and then we can save them as prefab. So let's go here in the scripts and right click and folder and platform scripts like this. And right click here and C# script. And this one's going to be the platform script. Select all of them. So all of them, platform, breakable platform, so on and so forth, and go at the bottom on add component and click there and search for platform script. This way you will attach the script on every single one of these game objects. So you see every single one of them has now a platform script. And if you scroll, you will see that all have a platform script. So now let me just open the platform script here and add some variables that we will need for every platform so that we can check them, and then we will be able to, well, continue with our game. So what do we need? Well, first of all, we need a public float move underscore speed. By default, let's say it's equal to 2. We are also going to say here public float bound y, which is going to be equal to 6. Now, what is this? Well, because our platforms are going to move from down to bottom, eventually they will get out of screen. So if you see here, if I take any platform, if I take this one and I start moving it, you see it's gonna move and eventually it's gonna go out of screen. Well, when it gets to the point of 6, you see here, so this is the 6, and I've measured this in the game while I was preparing it. So I simply moved the platform and I said, okay, here the platform is out of screen. It will not be visible. It will not be visible when I deactivate it. Because what do I mean by this? Well, I don't want the platform to get up to here. It's still in our game and then I simply turn it off like this, bam. No, we want the platform to, let me go here. We want the platform to move above here so it's out of sight, and then we are going to deactivate it. But for that, we need to know where that bound is going to be, and that bound is number 6, as you just saw me demonstrate that. Now here we are also going to have a public bool moving platform underscore left, and you can assume that we're also going to have a moving platform right, so right. And we're also going to have is breakable, and we're also going to have is spike, and we're also going to have is platform. This is how we are going to determine which platform is using this script. And now we're going to check these checkboxes. But before that, let me simply also add here a private animator anim, and then we can continue with everything. So now before we save them as prefab, select every platform and denote which platform it is. So if I go here, this platform is a regular platform, so we're going to check the checkbox is platform. Breakable platform is a breakable one, so we're going to check is breakable for the checkbox. The spike platform selected, and we're going to check is spike. For the speed platform left, we're going to check moving platform left, and actually we can rename that to speed, but that's up to you. Anyways, you get my point. This is the left one. And speed platform right, check the checkbox for that one as well. And voila! Now we have prepared our platforms, and we can safely go now into the prefabs folder and drag and drop them one by one. So this one and all of them. Make sure that you don't delete one of these that you didn't save as a prefab prior to this, because if you do, you will lose it. Then we will need to go again and add a component, a box collider, a rigid body, a script, an animator, depending on which platform you deleted. And now I can delete them because I have them as prefabs, and we're only left with our regular platform, and we can continue with the script. So let's get back here in Visual Studio. The first thing that we're gonna do here in awake function, so create the awake function, I'm going to test if is breakable. Which means if the platform holding this script is the breakable platform, we are going to say anim is equal to get component animator. We will deal with this later, but I'm just going to put it here so that we don't forget it. So what is the next thing to do? Well, I can safely remove the start function. We can leave only the update, and we can create below function, so void move, not on animation move, only move. And in the update here, I'm going to say move. And what we're going to do here simply is we are going to move the platform. We are going to say vector2 is temp, or well, the name of that variable is equal to transform that position, which is the current position of the platform. Then we're simply going to say temp.y plus equals to the move speed. Multiply that with time.delta time. Voila. And below, we're simply going to say transform position is equal to temporary position. And since this is moving inside of the update, we can go here and we can test it out. And I'm going to show you what that bound means for us. Because if I go here in the scene view, you see now the platform is out of the view, but it's still there. And here we don't see it in the game, but you see it's there, it's up, it's going. So we need to add an extra line of code here. We need to test if our temp, so if our temp.y is greater than or equal to the bound y, so bound y like this, then we're simply going to say game object set active is equal to false. So voila, and we are good to go. So now it will deactivate itself. And we can test that out now. So I can go here in Unity and let me just take a look at the scene view. So you will see now when it gets somewhere around here, pay attention. Let me just switch to the scene view right away. Pay attention now. Bam, it is deactivated. So this is what we need. So far, this is what we need for our platform to make them move. Now, later on when we add our player, we will detect what we're going to do with him. But for now, I'm going to right click here in the hierarchy. And I'm going to go and create an empty game object. And I'm going to set X, Y, and Z to 0, 0, 0. And this one is going to be our platform spawner. I'm also going to go back in the scripts folder and platform scripts and right click here and create a C# script, and this one's going to be platform script. Now, actually, excuse me, no, it's platform spawner. So I deleted this one, right click again and go here, and this one's going to be platform spawner. So platform spawner. Now, what are we going to do with this platform spawner? Well, he is going to be responsible for spawning our platforms, and we are simply going to reposition him somewhere around here. Let me just tag him. So this is our platform spawner. Let's say at -8. This is where his initial position is going to be, and from within there, we are going to spawn the platforms. So let's attach this platform spawner script on him. And of course, we need variables to make this happen. So let me just do my thing here. And class, give a little bit of space. You know the drill. Don't even judge me. Don't even think about judging me. So what we need? Well, first of all, here we're going to say public game object is going to be our platform prefab. This is the regular platform. We are also going to have a public spike platform prefab. We are also going to have a public game object array, and this is going to be moving platforms like this, and public game object breakable platform. So breakable platform. Now I can also omit here the underscore. We have the platform spike, moving platforms, and breakable platform. As you can assume, what we're going to do with these is that we are going to spawn them. Now for that, we need to have a spawn timer. So we're going to say here public float platform spawn timer. So spawn timer is going to be equal to 2f, so every 2 seconds. And we're also going to have here a private float. So float current. So current platform spawn timer. This one we are not going to declare, and we're also going to have a private int platform spawn count, and we also need to have a public float minimum underscore x, which is going to be equal to, and maximum underscore x, which is going to be equal to. Now, what are they going to be equal to? Well, if I take now the platform, this one right here, and if I move it to the bounds where it's, well, near the end, but it's not outside. So it's something like this here. I think 2. So this is -2. This is where the minimum is going to be. So -2 and maximum is going to be positive. Voila, simple like that. So if I go back here, the minimum is going to be -2f and the maximum is going to be 2. So we're going to spawn them between these two bounds. Now inside of the start, the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to set the current platform spawner timer, or current platform spawn timer, to be equal to platform spawn timer. Why are we going to do it like this? We will see in a second. For that we need to create here a function. So void spawn platforms like this. And in the update, we are going to call this function, so spawn platforms, which is going to start spawning all the platforms. Now, what we are going to do is the following. We are going to say current platform spawn timer plus equals time.delta time. We did this in numerous of my previous tutorials. We did this in the first person shooter. We did this in the beat 'em up game. We did this in the 2D space shooter. We are simply going to use this variable to denote when the value is larger. So here we're going to test if our current platform spawn timer is greater or equal to the platform spawn timer. So the current time, if it's greater than this time, and this time here we set it at 2, but it's a public variable, we can also change it. So if we think that we need to put a lower value, I don't know, something like, let's say 1.8, for example. So I can copy this and I can go here and select the platform spawner, and you can put here 1.8. So that works as well. And while we are here, let me quickly go here in the prefabs and attach the prefab. So here platform prefab is the platform one, the regular one. Spike, here it is, spike one. This is for the moving. So the size is going to be 2. We have the left. Here it is left, we have the right, here it is right, and the breakable platform. So here it is, breakable platform. Make sure that you add all of these or it will not work if you don't do that. Now going back here, we set the timer to 1.8 now, and here we're setting the current platform spawn timer to be equal to that value, which means as soon as we hit this in the update, we are adding to this value time.delta time, which is a very small number, but over time, because it's called in the update, which is called every frame, which means 60 times in a second, we are going to add to this value, and it will over time get to the point where it will have a greater value than this one. When that happens, we're going to spawn a platform. So here, spawn platform. Okay, so what's gonna happen here? First of all, we are going to say our platform count or spawn count plus plus. So we are going to increase it, and we are going to do the following. We are going to say here vector3 temporary position is equal to transform.position, and we're going to say temp.x is gonna be equal to random arrange between minimum x and the maximum x. Voila. So that is going to be the temporary, or actually, excuse me, this is the x, not the y. So x will be between minimum x and the maximum x. Okay, now below we are going to say game object, and we're going to say new platform, which by default is equal to null. But now, remove this animator. What am I doing here? But now we are going to test here. So we are going to type here if our platform spawn count, this one right here that we are incrementing, if that value, and let me just do it again, platform spawn count, if the value is lower than 2, we are going to do what? We are going to say new platform. So new platform is equal to instantiate, and we're going to instantiate the platform prefab. And we're going to use the temp as the position, and we're going to use quaternion.identity for the rotation. This is if the value is less, or actually if it's less than 2. So that will be when the value is 1 and 2, because 2 is not less than 2. Else if our platform, so else if platform spawn count is equal to 2. So if it's equal to 2, we're going to randomize. We are going to either spawn a spike or actually a moving platform. So let me do my thing here. We're going to say if random dot why rand if random dot range between 0 and 2, if it's greater than 0, so if it is greater than